My wife Ava and I strongly believe that a company must have a purpose. When one has a purpose that is greater than making money, it can lead to high levels of employee engagement. Interestingly, in our industry, hospitality, the definition of luxury is the intangible, the magic that the employees that occupy a property create. Magical service can only be trained to an extent. It has to be instilled. It has to come from the gut. We believe that our Slow Life core purpose generates enthusiasm and passion amongst our hosts. So one can argue that the more sustainable we are and the more true we are to our Slow Life core purpose, the more luxurious we become. This is why Soneva is arguably one of the few hotel companies to have won the equivalent of the Oscars for both sustainability and luxury in travel and tourism more than once. The Onion is the best description of our sustainability journey over these past 25 years. Every time we feel that we've cracked the code and achieved all that we can, only to realize that there are more challenges and opportunities ahead. I'd like to share with you some of our sustainability success stories. Initially, our focus was on conservation, including the preservation of these beautiful islands that Ava and I have always felt privileged to be guardians of during our lifetime. We campaigned for turtles and sharks, a no-no list avoiding Caspian Sea caviar, bluefin tuna, and others, avoiding tropical rainforest timbers, redesigning our buildings to blend in and accommodate the stunning vegetation. Another big priority was the reduction of carbon emissions and trying to decarbonize our operations. We introduced the first solar farm in the Maldives. Waste management was next. We built the EcoCentro and hired our first waste to wealth manager. As a result of these evolutions, 90% of our waste is recycled. Soneva Art and Glass is a state-of-the-art glass factory that converts our waste glass into works of great beauty. We've invited some of the world's leading glass artists who have worked with waste glass for the first time. In 2008, we began measuring our carbon. We decided to include Scope 3, which covers our externalities, such as the transportation of our guests and supplies. We discovered that Scope 3 accounts for 85%. Yes, 85% of the CO2 emissions as a result of our being. As a result of that, we introduced a mandatory, not a voluntary, carbon levy. This has raised a considerable amount of money for the Soneva Foundation. It funded a 1.5 megawatt windmill in India, 500,000 trees in the north of Thailand, cook stoves in Darfur and Myanmar. These cook stoves dramatically reduce smoke. There is a 50% reduction in firewood, which is important for these families as firewood is scarce. And there is also a 60% reduction in CO2 emissions. A perfect win-win. In the same year, we decided to ban branded water. So no Evian, no Vittel, just water bottled on site. Apart from the obvious ecological benefits from taking a linear process and making it circular, we also achieved a financial saving. This financial saving has co-funded 400 projects in 50 countries and given 800,000 people access to clean water. Cook stoves and Soneva water are perfect examples of where we made a small change to our business, which did not affect our profitability, but which had huge impact well beyond our shores. We also realized that our destinations were perfect locations to convene brilliant minds that were focused on and passionate about protecting our planet. Many initiatives have come out of these Soneva Slow Life Symposiums. Soneva Numuna Bar is a recent skin of the onion. It comprises a partnership between Soneva Fushi and 3 neighboring islands. There are 3 pillars: recycle, reduce, and inspire. Reduce has involved installing glass water bottling center on one of the islands and avoiding 80,000 plastic bottles. Recycle involves building waste-to-wealth centres on these islands. Inspire kindles a love and passion for the sea. At Soneva, we've always used nature as inspiration for our innovation. It is my hope that in a post-COVID-19 era, we will work in harmony with nature rather than against it. Let me share with you a recent success which emphasizes this point. In the middle of last year at Soneva Fushi, we set a target to become the first island to be completely mosquito-free. We decided to catch mosquitoes by studying their habits and creating natural traps. We sent Rent-A-Kill home. No more toxic spraying, just these traps. The catch on the island now is reduced by more than 95%. This is a perfect example of how by closely following and understanding the laws of nature and innovating around it, one can find solutions that end up being more effective. This year, we tasked our chefs to make our menus both more healthy and sustainable. We've targeted significant reductions in the consumption of white flour, processed sugar, dairy, and beef. Beef consumption has reduced by 75%. Dairy has reduced considerably as well. In addition to being good for guests' health, this approach is also good for the environment. After the built environment, the dairy and beef industry are the next biggest contributors to greenhouse gases. They account for more than 18%. We will not rest. We know many more skins of the onion that need to be peeled. Our future projects include a factory that will convert waste plastic and waste aluminium into useful and beautiful objects. As I speak, Soneva Jani is adding 3 megawatts of solar capacity and batteries. More than 50% of Soneva Jani's energy will come from solar. We will propagate coral that has a resistance level and a scale that has not been seen before in the Maldives. We all have a huge challenge ahead of us. Over the next 25 years, we will continue to redefine and break through the boundaries of sustainability in travel and tourism.